Hey guys, it's me again. Um, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you. Right now it's evening, that's why I'm in the very harsh overhead light. But I was inspired to talk a little bit more about anxiety and about things you can do to. Oh gosh, look at that! There's my laundry. Hold on one second. Okay. See, this is real. All right, this is real. I'm going to put this out of sight. Of course, now the dog thinks we're playing a game. This could be fun. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's a small cabinet. Anyway, I hope that made you laugh because that's always helpful with anxiety, by the way. So, what are some very practical, immediate things you can do when you're feeling anxious? And as it happens, this situation with the coronavirus has set really all of us up to have all kinds of junk come up for us, which could make us anxious. As if the situation itself wasn't enough, being worried about getting sick, being worried about our friends and loved ones getting sick, getting worried about whether or not we're going to have a job or enough money or a roof over our heads. Have I made you anxious yet? If that's not enough, then any sort of trauma, and this could certainly be considered a trauma in a lot of ways, or people can perceive it as trauma and it can end up tracking in their minds and bodies as trauma, okay, which is absolutely valid. If you're suffering symptoms of trauma, you have trauma. I don't care what it was that caused it. It doesn't make any difference, okay? Everybody's different. Everybody's wired differently. Everybody has different experiences. So, and that may lead them to more easily be triggered into an anxiety escalation, which can then very quickly fall back into PTSD symptoms, post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, especially if you've experienced them before. So, for instance, all of my lovely friends in New Orleans and family in New Orleans and the Mississippi coast, even though Katrina and the coronavirus seem to have nothing in common, the ultimate results of both of them have a lot in common. And so the feeling state that you may have, the way that you feel about it, the way that you're reacting to it emotionally, the way that your body is reacting to it, could be very similar. So you might end up being really surprised that you feel a lot like you did, right after Katrina, right after the city flooded. You may think, wow, that doesn't have anything to do with it. But it does, because it's inducing the same feelings in your body, the same emotions in your body, and a lot of the same, round of thoughts. So even if you've done a ton of therapy and you've worked your way through all of this, there's often still a little bit of residual something that's still there that can get pulled up at a new time, when you get triggered from something new, like the coronavirus. It could also bring up stuff from childhood if you have anything that happened in your childhood. It could bring up if you've had a car accident. Any number of things. Anything that sets off your autonomic nervous system, okay, your primal brain, that's your amygdala and your hippocampus. Anything that sets that stuff off is going to feel similar, and you're going to very quickly, if you have sort of that, that track in your brain, that track is going to start getting run again. Okay, so we want to stop that as soon as possible, and so that's one of the reasons I want to get in on this now, because this could drag out for a while. We really don't know, and I don't want people to get to a point where they're stuck, right? If you can start to intervene in this early on, then it will have much less of an impact on you. And you will feel like you're more in control. Remember, we talked about that before, that it's about you feeling like you're in control of yourself, because you can't control anything else out there. And certainly Katrina was another example of that, where, there was no control over what happened. Well, there could have been. That's a whole nother thing. we're not going to go there right now. So what do you do? Right? What do you do? So we've already talked about one thing that you can do. And one thing that you can do is you can try to intercept your breathing. If you notice that you're anxious, if you notice that your chest is getting tight, if you're starting to breathe fast, one very simple thing that you can do, which may help, is to close your mouth and breathe through your nose. And we talked about that last time. So I want to reiterate that. That's one thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do is the second thing that we talked about, which is grounding. You can feel your body, because often when we become anxious, we sort of come out of our body. We go into our head. We start going into what I call the vortex of negative thoughts, and they just go round and round and round, and they amp us up more and more and more. So you want to try to head off the vortex, the negative vortex. And one way to do that is to think about your body. Drop into your 5 senses. What do you see? What do you taste? What do you feel? What do you hear? Right? The other piece of this, after you drop into your body, after you check on, what you're sitting or standing on, what do your clothes feel like on your body? What does the air feel like? What's in your mouth? Did you brush your teeth today? Maybe you don't have to because you're working on the computer. What is like right now, my hair is wet and it's on the back of my neck and I can feel it. It feels slightly damp and chilly, right? So, what am I seeing? What am I looking at right now? I'm looking at dark windows behind my computer, and I'm looking at my computer. I'm looking at all of you lovely people. And my dog and I can hear my dog lapping up his water again. That seems to be something he's going to treat us to every time. So once you've closed your mouth and you've started to breathe through your nose, and you've done that for a little while so that you can begin to calm yourself down a little bit. And then you check in with your body, check into your 5 senses, drop into your body, really feel into your body, and keep going through, cycle through those senses a couple of times. Keep going with that. Don't just do it once, do it a couple of times, particularly if you're starting to feel really anxious. Check into your body, keep doing that. And then I want you to check in with your thoughts. What exactly is it that you're thinking? What, not vortexing, but just try to parse out the individual thoughts. Don't let them circle. Try to figure it out. I am terrified that I'm going to get sick. I'm scared my kids are going to get sick. I'm scared that I will run out of food. I'm terrified of passing this on to somebody else. I'm scared that I'm not going to have enough money to pay my rent. Whatever it is. Check in with it, see it, and then say goodbye to it if you can. Put it on a bus. I want you to, if you can, in your mind, visualize that thought. You can put it on a piece of paper in your mind if you want to, or you can write it down right in front of you. That's actually a great idea. Let's do that. Write it down. Write them all down. Just write them down. Get them out of your head. Get them on a piece of paper. Okay? Get them out of your head and on a piece of paper. Write down. What are the things what am I becoming anxious about right now? And then I want you to check in with how you're feeling. Not just are you feeling anxious. Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling desperate? Are you feeling alone? Are you feeling, what is it that you're feeling behind the anxiety? The anxiety is always tied to something, right? It's tied to a thought that makes you anxious, or it's tied to a feeling that makes you anxious. And sometimes it can be even tied to a smell, that clicks into your nervous system and reminds you, even your subconscious, of something that happened before. Just like a good sense memory, like baking cookies can make you think of your grandmother. Sense memories can also go the other way, can go the other way too. So if you can grasp that. But the main thing I want you to do is to first get hold of your thoughts. Don't let them run away. Put a little harness on them, pull them back, look at them and say, okay, I see you. I've written you down. I see you. I don't need you to talk to me like this anymore, because you're talking to yourself, right? So you can tell yourself, I don't want to do this anymore. I would like to not do this anymore. Check with those thoughts Tell those thoughts that you really prefer, that you see them, that you hear them, that you understand that they are a concern, but they are not a concern right now, right? Nobody's knocking at your door right now to kick you out of your house. Nobody is, if you are not sick right now, you're not sick right now, right? Don't anticipate it. You may not become sick, or you may get it and have no symptoms. Who knows? Try not to anticipate it. And when you look at those thoughts, think to yourself, am I anticipating something? Am I assuming that something's going to happen? Am I afraid that something's going to happen? And let that be and say, you know what? That's in the future. That's not happening right now. I don't have to deal with that right now. What do I have to do right now? Right now, I either have to sit here for a minute and collect my thoughts and look at them and figure out what it is that I can say to them. You're in the future. You're not happening now. This isn't something I need to see again or hear, right? And you may have to do this a lot at first. But if you keep doing it, I think you'll find over time that you don't have to do it as much, right? If you just will get to a point where you will say, oh, right, here comes that thought again. Oh, right, here comes that feeling again. I know where it's coming from. I know it's because I'm anxious about X, Y, or Z, but it doesn't have to hijack me. It doesn't have to hijack my mind. It doesn't have to hijack my body. And it takes a little practice. It's not something that's going to happen immediately, but it will happen if you continue to monitor it. And if every time you say to yourself, okay, this isn't happening right now. This isn't a threat right now. I don't need to worry about this very minute. It's not what's happening right now. Right now, I'm going to make dinner, or I'm going to watch a movie, or I'm going to call a friend, or I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something that will relax me and help me to let go of this feeling, emotion, thought, whatever it is. And by doing that, you can also then begin to, and this is in meditation, and it's also a Buddhist thing, the idea of developing the witness. You begin to watch your own thoughts. You begin to watch your own feelings and realize that your thoughts and feelings are not you. Your thoughts and feelings are just your thoughts and feelings. And they're coming up. And they may be coming up because of something that happened in the past, and they may be coming up because of something that happened now. But the vast majority of the time, they are not real to the situation that you're in right now. And so you can let them go. And you can tell them, I'm good. Thanks for the warning. I'm okay. That's what I'm going to suggest for now. And again, I'm trying to keep this a little bit shorter and not ramble quite so long. So I'm just going to recap then. The idea being, first, try to catch hold of your breathing if you can. Close your mouth, breathe through your nose. Drop into your 5 senses. Do it several times if you need to. Do it a dozen times if you need to. Doesn't take that long. It'll probably take you a minute to do it a couple of times. And then start to capture your thoughts. Write them down. Pin them in your mind, whatever it is. And then question them. Talk back to them. Tell them, I'm not interested right now. Tell them, thanks, but no thanks. Tell them, assuming that they're negative thoughts. Tell them that, thanks for the warning. I appreciate it, but I'm good right now. That's not something I need to worry about right now. And then let them go. And whether that's you stick them in a fireplace or burn them with a candle or crumple them up and throw them away in the trash can, it doesn't really matter to me. But get rid of them. Let them go. Let them go in your mind. Let them get on a bus and go. Or write them down and throw them away. And do the same thing with your feelings. Check in with your feelings. Check in with how you're feeling. And how you're feeling is how you're feeling. Like I don't want to suggest that, if you're sad, it's not okay to be sad. but don't get caught up in it, right? Allow that. So the feeling states are a little bit different. Your thoughts, I want you to capture and release. Your emotions, it's important to feel them. It's important not to get lost in them and get stuck in them, if that makes sense. So there, I would simply allow the feeling to be there. Try not to react to it. Try to just watch it like a wave, like you're watching waves. If you're sitting on the beach and you're watching the waves and they come up and they roll and they hit the beach and then they roll back, okay? And with emotions, the same things happen, right? They reach a crest, they reach a crescendo, they feel really intense, really intense, really intense. Then they come down, they go on the beach, and they can wash back out. The difference between a wave and emotions is that we can get stuck, and I can actually make this metaphor work. You can get stuck in that wave, right? If you're body surfing, you can get caught up in the crest and roll in it for too long, right? Don't want to do that. That's not safe. You want to allow the wave to come up and wash back out. And if you watch the emotion, as opposed to buying into it, as opposed to grabbing it and saying, oh, this is me, I am so sad. And instead think to yourself, I'm feeling really sad right now. And I'm feeling really sad right now because, there's a lot that's going on that is difficult. But don't get caught up in it. Don't get caught in that wave. Don't roll in the crust of that thing. Let it slide back out. And if you watch it long enough, it will recede. It will not stay at the crescendo. It won't stay there. It will come back down. It will always come back down if you just watch it. So I'm going to leave you with that thought, the thought of waves crashing on the beach and then going back out into the ocean. And those are your thoughts and your emotions coming in, cresting, your emotions in particular, going back out. So, good night, and I'm thinking about you and sending lots of love and compassion out to the whole world, everyone I know. A lot of feeling out there. So let's watch it crest and then let it go. Okay? All right. Good night, guys. Or good morning, whatever. Or happy middle of the night, whatever it is. Bye.